So the battle, we got carb refeeds, then we got
cheat meals.
Now a lot of people do cheat meals. Cheat meals have been very popularized. It's something you'll see quite often in all regimens of sport, powerlifting, bikini, especially in the figure world, like the bodybuilding, physique, etc., etc. You'll see them. It's a good excuse for them to binge out and finally crack to all these cravings they've been withholding themselves from. Chances are you're scrolling through Instagram, or you have that one friend who's always buffing, but they have 10,000 calories in one day. The issue with this is you got to think of food and total intake in a weekly standpoint and a consistent standpoint. By doing something like this, if I'm spending my weekly allowance of $10, if I'm spending $8 of it in one day, I'm gonna have $2 for 6 days, and this is bad because you're monopolizing your budget in one day or doing more damage and going into debt, hypothetically.
Here's one potential case where an individual is having 3,000 calories a day to get off of their old baseline maintenance of 3,200 a day for a total of 2,450 a week. Because of this cheat at 6,500 calories, they've effectively achieved nothing, considering that their old calories would have been 2,240, leaving them in a surplus of 2,100 calories. This is the fault that a lot of people will buy into, and it ends up ruining them and make them run in circles.
Who would benefit from a carb refeed, Kyle?
Generally someone who's in a deficit, which means that your total daily expenditure is higher than the amount of calories you're eating. So also if your carbs are decreased, and if you're getting ready for a show, if you're extremely lean, you can definitely benefit from using a carb refeed. So what does a carb refeed actually do?
Alright, so before you get all frantic, a carb refeed is exactly what it sounds like. So this is when you're increasing your total volume of calories, mainly through glycogen-rich foods, i.e. complex carbohydrates, but this can also be simple carbohydrates if you have a big refeed. Refeeds will usually be in the range of about 50 to 100% of your daily carbohydrate intake. Therefore, if you're having about 100 grams of carbs, you're gonna be anywhere between 150 to 200 grams of carbs.
But I'm dieting. I can't have that many carbs. Carbs are bad for you. Have you seen my hips?
It's actually a really good garlic bread. Garlic bread is my favorite food. I could honestly eat it for every meal, or just eat it all the time without even stopping.
You get fat.
No, why would I get fat?
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
So the point of the carbs, and to make sure you're not going too far over, is you're actually gonna restrict your fat. I usually recommend about cutting it in half. Now this is gonna help bring down the total intake, but you do wanna keep in mind that you do not wanna turn this into just a high carb day. It needs to be a carb overload. For this to be effective, you need to be going over your recommended amount to really stock up on leptin.
So let me get this straight. On a carb refeed, you don't eat whatever you want?
Alright, so here's where the key distinction comes. Carb refeed may sound a lot to you like a cheat meal or a cheat day, but that is exactly not what it is. It is so far opposite of that. It's a controlled, calculated approach at overloading on your glycogen levels to stock up that leptin as mentioned before, and leptin is responsible for your energy levels and restricting cravings. So if your leptin levels are in the dirt, chances are you're gonna be feeling real sluggish, weak, you're not gonna be getting adequate pumps because of the lack of carbs if you're very low. So this is something to keep in mind.
So from a bodybuilding standpoint, a lot of people will start with their leptin levels like moderate, average, and then by the end of their prep, they'll be down to the ground, extremely low. And the leaner you get, generally speaking, the more times you're gonna have to refeed. It's energy in versus energy out. This is going against everything you've taught me.
So this does directly go against the idea of energy in versus energy out. But what you gotta keep in mind is this is different, because what you're doing here is you're refeeding and replenishing this leptin. Now this one day you might gain a little bit of weight on the scale. Some people don't, but this is very rare. But if that's you, you're a very lucky person. You're gonna gain a little bit of weight, maybe a little bit of fat, the teensiest, weенsiest amount. But the point is it's gonna refresh you and rejuvenate you to help you attack the rest of your week effectively. However, don't overdo it and abuse it, or else you won't see any weight loss.
Yo, Rich, brother! Screw the 8-hour workout, let's go 16, man. Coach told me to up the carbs by double the amount.
Whoa. Carb refeeds are to refeed. You wanna rest, have a normal day, you can do your workout, you're gonna have extra energy, don't utilize it in that day. Back to the in versus out, we wanna make sure the in is more than the out, otherwise you're defeating the entire purpose. So give them a try. I'm gonna have to say carb refeeds knocked out the cheat day or the cheat meal, and that's